Everybody, welcome back. This is HD and it's time for the HD World Tournament Grand Finals. That's right, it is going to be a best of 7 Grand Finals, and as you guys all know, this is going to be for $1,000 first place prize money, and the runner-up is only going to get half that amount at $500. I know you guys have been waiting to see what's going to happen in this tournament and who's going to take home the first place and who's going to go home with second. And so let's go ahead and get this underway. This is going to be a best of 7 series, and down in the bottom right hand corner we do have our blue Terran player Straylock in the 5 o'clock position on Crevasse, and he is hailing from Ukraine. He has done some amazing work in the HD World Tournament thus far. In the semifinals, Straylock actually had to play against a very good player as well. He had to play against Sen, who is another Zerg, which just kind of goes to show that Straylock is here to play, and he can dominate Zerg players, and he's going to need all the tactics and all the strategies that he's learned from playing against Sen, from playing against Zerg players to defeat this man right here, a titan of the Zerg players, Damaga. He is going to be our red Zerg player spawning at the top right hand position, the 1 o'clock on Crevasse, and Damaga himself, he is nothing to really take for granted. He is one of the top tier caliber Zerg players as well, and interestingly enough, he is also from Ukraine. So both these players are hailing from the potato eating land in Europe. I just looked that up. Ukrainians actually eat, they are the second largest consumer of potatoes. So I guess whoever wins this game might go out and buy a lifetime supply of potatoes. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know this is going to be an amazing series. This is going to be a best of 7. Just want to remind you guys about that. And in the semifinals, Damaga actually had a very difficult opponent as well, taking out Zoc, he had a great showing in the tournament all the way up to the semifinals. And then Damaga just kind of said, you know what? You want to play games with me? I will play long-term macro games with you. And really, that's the style that Damaga has kind of been touting for this entire tournament, and he's shown that it is very successful, and he knows how to manipulate the game and how to play it to maximize his win rate. So we'll see what happens here. Straylock, it looks like he's going to be going for early command center here. Do note that this map is Crevasse, and we do have a lot of safe places to expand to, notably this expansion area right here that is tucked inside the main. As usual, the rocks here covering the ramp and just kind of making it a half-sized ramp for now. We'll see if the Zerg player decides to exploit that later on by taking out those rocks. And Damaga, true to form, he is going to be going for a hatchery inside the main. And both these players, you know, if I had to take a guess, I would say that both of them are going to play straight up macro games. I don't think we're going to see any cheese at all unless somebody takes a quick 2-0 lead, or a quick 3-0 lead, excuse me. This is a best of 7. I don't think we're going to see any antics whatsoever. I think both players, especially given the map pool, are going to be playing their play style that they like most, which is long-term macro games. And we'll see how that plays out for both these players. Damaga here getting a couple Zerglings out as the SCV is now creeping inside the main, and it is going to go straight into the natural to see, okay, Damaga, you do have a natural expansion at the rocks above. Damaga also claiming the gas at the rich Vespine geyser, which does allow him to get a little bit more gas intake, but do note there is only one geyser at that safe expansion on the plateau above, and it looks like the SCVs have just been taken out with the Reaper now on the way to kind of go avenge that SCV's death, and we'll see what this Reaper tries to do. Probably just going to do a little bit extra scouting and maybe go in there and pick off a couple of drones. I also want to call to you guys' attention on this map, these rocks here, which all of them actually lead into the third expansion for both players, and those rocks can be taken out, usually more favorably taken out by the Zerg player, so that they have different routes to access the third expansion and more ways to flank the enemy Terran. And it looks like the Reaper gets surrounded by 5 Zerglings and 2 Queens in the back. Little loss right there for Straylock, unexpected. Most players don't lose the Reaper that quickly, and it almost seems like that Reaper basically didn't really do much at all except kill 1 drone. Remember, every little thing in StarCraft 2 really has a snowball effect. Losing that Reaper, think about it. It could have done additional scouting. It could have maybe killed 1 or 2 more drones, but losing that Reaper that early on basically means 50 minerals, 50 gas that was invested, and really not much coming out of it. Damaga here just pumping up the economy. Really, at 34 drones right now. Straylock not too far behind though at 31 SCVs himself. And Straylock is going to be going for Blue Flame Hellions here, guys. 1 SCV already at the third expansion. Quick third for Damaga. And Straylock now knows exactly what Damaga is doing. Damaga is just playing a macro game, grabbing all the hatcheries all over the map, and trying to get into the late game against the Terran player. And it's going to be up to Straylock to do something about that. And I think we're going to be seeing some massive Blue Flame Hellions in the next couple of minutes. Yeah, look at that. 2 factories, guys, on the ramp here. One with Reactor, which means that's going to be able to produce double the amount of Hellions. One with the Tech Lab just to get the Blue Flame upgrade. And we're about to see probably about 8 Hellions coming out. There's a 3rd command center coming up for Straylock as well. So I think what we're going to see is Straylock build up about 8 Hellions, and then he's going to move out and harass, and at the same time he's going to grab a 3rd expansion. And most likely going to be grabbing it right here, and he's going to have to make sure he keeps these rocks safe. He doesn't want to allow the Zerg player to come in from a back door and hit that 3rd expansion. And here comes the Hellions. Not quite 8, it is 5, but 1 more just completed with 2 more on the way. And this is going to be a pretty big Hellion move out. 40 drones right now for Damaga, and we'll see how many drones he loses. Already evacuating the 3rd expansion, making sure it's safe and no drones are going to go down there. If there were any drones there in the first place, I don't even know if Damaga ever populated it. But Damaga is doing a great job at just being safe, being careful. Note, he's keeping his Zerglings on the ramp. He doesn't want to allow those Hellions to get inside his main. That is the absolute worst position you could be in, to let 8 Blue Flame Hellions inside your main. So right now Damaga is just stalling for time. He's waiting to get Infestors with Fungal Growth upgrade ready to go, and he also has a ton of creep spreaded around his 3rd expansion. This is going to allow his Zerglings to surround the Hellions if necessary, and it looks like it will happen. The Hellions here getting caught out of position, and all the Zerglings taking out about 8 Hellions worth. And that was another big blunder for Straylock. Straylock now has lost so much of his opening units. He really has nothing right now, and I have to say, his 3rd expansion is so vulnerable to an attack. Guys, he only has 2 Hellions, 2 Marines, and a Thor. Straylock right now could potentially lose game number 1 if Damaga decides to go for an all-out counter, but I don't know if that's Damaga's playstyle. I think Damaga is just going to be content to absorb, basically pick off units here or there, defend and defend and defend, and eventually move out once he's got a max supply army. So it does look like Damaga isn't going to be making an attack. If we look on that production tab, guys, we do see Neural Parasite on the way. Great insight right here by Damaga. No doubt already anticipating the Thors, and that Neural Parasite is going to work wonders against Thors. If you can mind control them, turn them against a Terran army, that is one big investment that just turned awry for your army, and that's never good. Straylock here is going to be able to pick off a single creep tumor, so a little bit of a little gain right there for Straylock. He doesn't want this creep obviously to reach all the way over to his 3rd, but just look at the creep spread right here by Damaga thus far. It is so insane. Looks like these 2 Hellions are going to get cornered in, and unfortunately these rocks are not busted down, so that Hellion will get picked off as well. And I wonder if Damaga is going to do the patented Wall of Crawl against a Terran player. I know he likes to do it against a Protoss player. We saw him do it to great effect against Zok. But I don't know if he's the type of player that would do that against a Terran. It really doesn't seem like an effective strategy, even though he's already building 2, simply because siege tanks can outrange the spine crawlers so easily. But you never know. It does look like Damaga here is going straight into Ultralisk Cavern, guys. So we are going to have some serious mega uber units coming out in the next couple of minutes. And of course, +2 weapons and +2 Carapace for melee and Carapace coming out, which means we're basically going to see Ultra Ling Infestor. Always a good combination of units, and really something that Terran players have a hard time dealing with. Thankfully though, Straylock doesn't seem to be trailing behind in supply all that much. Look at that army tab, guys. 137 over 132. So Straylock's only behind by a couple units worth of supply. He's really, even though he's lost a ton of Hellions and even that initial Reaper, which really doesn't make much of a difference, he really hasn't lost all that much, and he's not trailing behind at all. And I'm trying to figure out where that Zergling noise is coming from. Ah, there we go. Obviously, Damaga is starting to destroy the rocks that lead all over the map so he can open up more routes to attack with. And I wonder, has he destroyed? Yes, he has. He has destroyed the rocks over here as well. So he's got that creep getting ever more closer to Straylock's 3rd. And Straylock's got to be concerned Especially if these rocks here go down. Man, that would be rough. Because in the Zerg, Damaga will be able to just pincer this Terran army so easily. But I think Damaga's just waiting for his ultras to come out. I saw 5 on the production tab, 4 on the production tab right there, and it looks like those ultras and those lings and the infestors are starting to coalesce into this almost humongous swarm of Zerg units, and I just don't know if Strelok is going to be able to deal with a late game Zerg of Damaga's caliber. Damaga now has a 4th expansion up, guys, and he's got this one, of course, also has only has a single geyser and not a rich Vespene geyser. So actually, Damaga will need to grab another hatchery somewhere, and it looks like he's already on that. Gonna go to the 11 o'clock location to claim more resources. Man, this is just gonna result in one big battle, and whoever has more units left standing at the end, just like in the good old days of warfare, that's gonna be the one who's gonna win this game. And I just don't know how this is going to turn out. I think a lot of it is going to come down to positioning. As we can see, Damaga, he has all the creep spread all over the map right now. SCV is actually being killed off here, sacrificed SCVs, or no, those SCVs were actually going down to this expansion right here, and they got picked off by Damaga. So a little bit of a blunder there by Strelok. I thought Strelok was freeing up capacity, but it's way too early to be doing that. And here we have the big battle we've been waiting for. The fungal growth getting launched all over the Marines, and the infestors mind controlling the Thors. And who is going to have more units at the end of this battle waits to be seen. Marines are getting shredded up by the Ultras as more Marines and Marauders come out, and it looks like Strelok is going to come out of this battle ahead. And note, he has destroyed these rocks so he can quickly move over here and dispatch these 4 Zerglings so he can land down his command center. But you gotta wonder, losing all those SCVs, did he do that on purpose? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure those SCVs were going to populate this 4th expo. And unfortunately, he just went the wrong way. The SCVs took the wrong detour, and hey, hold that thought. We have more Zerglings coming in to kill more SCVs. Strelok here, not on top of the ball. He's actually allowing his SCVs to just be idly dying, and they're not moving at all. Finally, Strelok gives the orders to abandon the minerals and go repair, and finally, it looks like only 1 Zergling left remaining. Oh man, Damaga really doing some good work. Let's go ahead and look at that unit's kill tab. And the workers kill tab, of course. Damaga is dominating right now at 32 workers killed, whereas Strelok has only killed 1, and that 1 worker came from that Reaper in the beginning of the game, and that is it. Damaga is setting the tempo in this best of 7 series, and this first game can really be a huge benefit if Damaga can take it away right here, launching the fungal once again, locking down all the Terran units, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Damaga in the late game is a beast. And he just overran Strelok. Strelok surrenders and raises the white flag. Oh man, that was an intense one. And Damaga just said, you're going to have to play a faster game with me if you want to win. Because if you let me get my 4th and my 5th base up, it's good night, baby. And I'm going to eat a potato and say I'm going to take this whole series. So great game right there by both players, and don't forget, guys, this is a best of 7. So game 2 in the HD World Tournament Grand Finals is coming up next.